Lesson 2, Surds. So your learning objective today is I will be able to add and subtract surds. But before we start that, we're just going to make sure we can still do the skills from that first lesson. So here's a warm up for you. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through them. Okay, question 1 then. Root 40. Remember, you're thinking of two factors of 40, one of them which is a square number. So I've got 4 times 10. So that becomes root 4 is 2, root 10. A little bit of algebra. This will make sense why I put these in a minute. But 7x add 2x add 5x is 14x. Simplify root 8. So again, two factors of 8, one of them which is a square number. You get root 4 times 2, which becomes 2 root 2. Next question, remember you add the e's to the e's, to 7e add 4e is 11e, and 2f minus f is 1f or just f. And the last one here, 3x add 2y, wonder how many of you are actually caught out here. You can't actually do this, you can only add the terms if they're the same. So x is completely different to y, so this one was a trick, so you cannot do it. Okay, lovely. So moving on to today's lesson then. Our key points are, okay, you can add and subtract expressions containing surds by collecting like terms. You can only add or subtract terms when the number under the root is the same. So this follows the same rules as algebra. So here's our worked example. So if I've got 3 lots of root 2 and I want to add it to 5 lots of root 2, what you're actually saying is how many lots of root 2 have you got all together? So 3 lots of root 2 and 5 lots of root 2 is 8 lots of root 2. A bit like if the question was 3x add 5x, you would have 8x. So 3 lots of root 2 add 5 lots of root 2 is 8 root 2. Okay, this one here, 3 lots of root 2 add 2 lots of root 5. You cannot do this. These are not the same roots, so it cannot be done. You cannot simplify. A bit like that last question on the starter. So don't get caught out by anything like that. The roots have to be the same in order to add them together to collect the like terms. Okay, so I've got a question for you to do here. Have a go and we'll go through it. So 4 lots of root 7 and 3 lots of root 7 equals 7 lots of root 7. Done. So I now have 5 questions for you to practice. So what I'd like you to do is press pause, have a go, and then we will go through them. Okay, hope you enjoyed doing them. So 5 root 2 add 3 root 2 is 8 root 2. 2 root 3 add 5 root 3 is 7 root 3. 8 root 5 add 5 root 5 is 13 root 5. Be careful here, remember that if there's not a number, it's an invisible 1. You can either add it in or just remember that. So 3 add 2 add 1 becomes 6 lots of root 3. And the last one, 2 root 3 add 3 root 2. Hopefully I didn't catch anyone out. This cannot be done. Okay, make sure you didn't get tricked there because they're similar numbers but the roots are not the same. You cannot add them. Okay, good job everyone. So the next thing we're going to move on to is subtracting surds. Now this works in a very, very similar way. Okay, you can only subtract them if the roots are the same. So if I've got 8 lots of root 5, subtracting 2 lots of root 5, that leaves me with 6 lots of root 5. Okay, so here's one for you to do. Have a go and then we'll go through it. Okay, so 3 lots of root 2, take away 2 lots of root 2, leaves me with root 2. Good job. Right, that's it for them then. I have 5 questions for you to practice. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through them. Okay then, so number 1. 6 lots of root 2 minus 3 lots of root 2 is 3 root 2. 3 root 7 minus root 7 is 2 lots of root 7. 11 root 5 minus 2 root 5 is 9 root 5. Okay, do this one bit by bit. So we've got 9 lots of root 3 subtract 5 lots of root 3, and then we're going to add on 1 lot of root 3. So we end up with 5 root 3. This one again, 12 root 5 add 2 root 5, take away 7 root 5 leaves you with 7 root 5. Okay, nice and easy. So they're the basic skills of adding and subtracting. Now we're going to take it a step further and involve what we did yesterday. So, adding and subtracting surds. When the number under the root is not the same, you can make it the same by simplifying. Now obviously this isn't the case for every question, not all questions can be simplified, but we're going to have a look at this now. So here's my worked example. Okay, so I've got 5 root 5 add root 45. So at the moment we cannot add them because this is root 5 and this is root 45. But you should be thinking that root 45 can be simplified. So if I'm going to simplify this, I need 2 factors, one of which is a square number. So I'm thinking 9 times 5. So that can be written as root 9 times root 5 or 3 root 5. Now they always magically, this root will be the same as this one, so you can add them. So they're kind of giving you a clue here. So I've got 5 root 5 add, so I've just brought that down, add 3 root 5, so my final answer is 8 root 5. Okay, take that in, and then I'm going to write you one over here for you to do. So you've got root 27 add 2 root 3. Press pause and have a go. Okay, so let's write root 27 as 2 factors of 27, one of which is a square number, but we do know that the other number's got to be 3. So there's loads of clues coming out here. 9 3s are 27. This becomes root 9 times root 3 or 3 root 3. And we're going to add that to 2 root 3. So my final answer is 5 root 3. Okay, hopefully you got that correct. Okay, so I have 4 questions for you to practice. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through them. Okay then, so we need to rewrite root 12 simplified. We know one of the numbers is going to be 3. We know the square number is 4, so I get root 4 times root 3, which becomes root 4 times root 3, which is 2 root 3. Bring around this one, root 3, add 2 lots of root 3 is 3 root 3. Number 2, let's rewrite 27. We know the other number's got to be root 3 in order to add these together. And we get 9 lots of 3. Root 9 times root 3 is 3 root 3. Add on 12 root 3 gives me 15 root 3. Next question here. Let's rewrite root 50. So I get the 2 there, so they're the same. 25 times 2. So we get root 25 times root 2, which becomes 5 root 2. So 7 root 2 add 5 root 2 is 12 root 2. And this one here, let's rewrite the 32. So I get 2. Now be careful. because this 2 here is 2 lots of root 32. So when we simplify the 32, we still need that 2 at the front, and I'll show you what happens with that now. So to make 32, I do 16 times 2. This becomes, I'm still writing it in here, so I've got root 16 times root 2. So root 16 becomes 4, so this becomes 2 times 4 times root 2, or 8 root 2. It's a little bit longer, and then we bring this down because we're adding them together. I get 3 root 2, which becomes 11 root 2. Next example, so when I look at this looks similar, they all look similar, but I'm looking and I'm thinking, well, I can't make this into root 8 because nothing times 8 makes 18. So this time we're going to have to look at simplifying both of the surds in order to add them together. So when you think about it carefully, you can think, well, this could be 9 times 2, this is 4 times 2, so they'll both have root 2 underneath the root sign. So this becomes 9 times 2, and this one becomes 4 times 2. Okay, so let's rewrite this. We get root 9 times root 2, and I've got root 4 times root 2, so it becomes 3 root 2, subtract 2 root 2. 3 root 2 minus 2 root 2 is 1 root 2, or root 2. So just be aware, when you have questions like this, rewrite them with a common root. Okay. Okay, I have a question for you to do then, please. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through it. Okay, so I'm looking at 18 and 200, and I'm thinking they both have a common factor of 2, so I'm going to be able to write them as root something times 2 and root something times 2. So square number, 9 times 2 is 18, 100 times 2 is 200. Let's simplify them then. So root 9 times root 2, add root 100 times root 2. Square root of 9 is 3, so I get 3 root 2, add 10 root 2, which gives me 13 root 2. Okay, so there's our examples. You've done one. Hopefully that's clear. Okay, so here's your practice questions. Press pause, have a go, and then we'll go through them. So question 1 then. Your common factor of 32 and 18 is 2, so we know it's going to be something, a square number times 2 to make 32, and a square number times 2 to make 18. So 16 times 2 is 32, 9 times 2 is 18. Let's rewrite these. So I get root 16 times root 2 minus root 9 times root 2. Square root of 16 is 4, so I get 4 root 2 minus 3 root 2. 4 minus 3 is 1, or just root 2. Okay, question 2 here. We need common factor of 80 and 20, which you can also times by square number to get these. So I'm thinking that 5 goes into both of those, so I can do 16 times 5, and I can do 4 times 5 to get 20. Okay, so I get root 16 times root 5, and I get root 4 times root 5. This becomes 4 root 5, and I've got 2 root 5. That makes 4, add 2 is 6 lots of root 5. Okay, question 3. I'm thinking we could do 36 times 5 and 4 times 5. So I get root 36 times root 5 minus root 4 times root 5. Square root of 36 is 6. 6 root 5 minus 2 root 5 leaves me with 4 root 5. And the last one here, again, these numbers might not come to you straight away, but think of a factor, start with thinking of the factors, see which ones work. 15 is a factor of both of these, and you can times 15 by a square number to get 60, and you can times 15 by 9 to get 135. Okay, so rewrite them. Root 4 times root 15, add root 9 times root 15, can be written as 2 root 15 and 3 root 15. 2 add 3 is 5 root 15. Okay, and that is the last bit of our lesson today. So I hope you enjoyed that, I hope you understood that, I hope you got them all correct. So now it's your job to complete the exit ticket on adding and subtracting surds. Take a photo of it and send it to your teacher to mark. Thank you. If anyone was wondering what the noise was, it was Bubbles. Have a good day.